Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, good evening. Woo, man, what a week. What a weekend. We're good, though. This is Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Ha, I just like saying that. Today's Monday, July 11th. 194 days into the new year, 172 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planets. I'm your so humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Yeah, it's Monday. What a week we have got in front of us, and it starts tonight. We welcome back with us special guest David Wilcock is here. We're going to be talking about what is going on with all of this negative energy around us, and his new book, The Ascension Mysteries. Tomorrow night, Corey Good is going to be here. Man, oh man. And he's going to update us on the entire whistleblower front, what's going on with him and the work that he's doing and his new web project. We're going to talk about all of that. It was just launched over the weekend, and we participated in that. And it was a lot of fun. And so we're going to discuss that tomorrow night. And then on Wednesday night, we're going to wrap up this week of tension in the world and enlightenment and ascension with Lori McDonald. And she's going to be here. And there's something going on. Something going on in the world. We know it. We can feel it. We're going to start off tonight with David. Tomorrow night, Corey Good. Wednesday night, our good friend Lori McDonald. So it's a big family affair this week with everybody that we have on the show. Really looking forward to it. Thursday night is going to be another Fader night. Open lines with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom. Okay, there you go. The phone number, I'll just go ahead and put it out there, 323-825-5045. But I have the feeling, and you guys know how it goes with David and Corey and Lori for that matter, is great conversation. So I don't know if we're going to be able to cut in on that with phone calls. But if we do get to it, I'll let you know. Okay? It'll probably be in a couple hours if we do have the time. Twitter is at JChurchRadio. Facebook, YouTube, you know what to do. Just go to, if you're on our website right now, just click on the buttons, follow, like, and subscribe. You can email throughout the show. And that is Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. And just make it good. All right. Now, I just came off of a weekend over at Coast, and I'm going to address that here in just a second. It was a good time, but we're going to get to that as well. And any questions or comments during the show. For all of the first-time listeners tonight that have not been to Fade to Black before, this is a long-format conversation show. It is live. Okay? Now, just hang out. That's all you got to do. This is an open conversation show. I don't have 20 questions in front of me, 30 questions that were submitted from the guest. I don't do that. That's not what we do here. Okay, so just sit back, relax, get comfortable, because it's just a conversation that's going to unroll. Now, over in Twitter runs live throughout the show. We have a couple of chat rooms. We have the KGRA chat room. We have the speaker chat room. You can hang out on Twitter. Use the hashtag F2B. Get yourself TweetDeck. It'll make it better for you. And hang out. Hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black questions for myself or the guest, and tonight that'll be David Wilcock. That's how this show runs. It is fully interactive. Whenever you hear about another host out there, another show, oh, we're interactive, come hang out. No. That is how this show has always run from the very beginning. We have a very large audience, a very cool audience. And if you're here for the first time, you're going to find out. Okay? All right. Let's see. Where am I? Calls already coming in. I don't know. I did not say. So, look, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm hanging up on everybody. I don't want to see these lighting up all night long. Okay? So there you go. You just got the rude treatment. When I say the phone lines are open, then light them up for me. Okay? Now, okay, let's do this. It's Monday. I'm running on about 4 hours sleep, as everybody knows, ran through last week and then coast all weekend. And here we are today. And I'm just going to let you guys know, bright and early tomorrow morning, we've got a car showing up at the house early to pick me up. And I've got to go tape all day tomorrow for a TV show. And so I got to do that. And there's probably more later on this week. But anyway, I can't really. So then tomorrow night, when I finally, when that car drops me off here at the bunker after the taping, I will be running on 4 hours sleep, going on 5 days. Okay, so everybody just bear with me. You know, this is when the surreal stuff happens, though, if you think about it. This is when the surreal, you know, the unintentional running of the mouth. That's what happens when you run on lack of sleep. All right. Let's go through it. Support the show. That's what you do. This is America. And we do that through sponsors. Our sponsors, Life Change Tea, getthetea.com. Just go there right now. Click on the banner while you're doing it. Use the promo code Jimmy, Jimmy, when you order, either over the phone or online when you check out, and you will get free shipping on your order. Go to the specials page. There's specials there that Ronnie's got going for you. Me, I do colostrum, tea, moringa, and the olive leaf extract. Man, I love. You know what? I did a bunch right before the show. Watch it. I'm going to do it in real time. Watch that. Love this olive tea, man. All right. Also, Studio Dome. I just saw that somebody shot me an email with pictures of their Studio Dome setup. Very cool. Studio Dome, surround sound and stereo packages. They have their TWS True Wireless Stereo package right now for the Fadernauts, $129. 2 full-range, high-fidelity SBB2 speakers with true wireless stereo Bluetooth technology. It is the latest. It is in stereo. You get it for 60% off the normal price. And use the promo code JCRTWS. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. Now, the Awareness Life Expo is coming up, and I'm looking. It's exactly 4 weeks away up in Sacramento, California, at the Crowne Plaza Hotel. And it's August 13th and 14th, but August 12th, that Friday, we're going to be broadcasting from the expo. Now, and that is a special VIP party, and you're going to want to be there. We've got a suite. We're going to broadcast from there. I think it's going to hold 75 people. Pack it out. We're going to have a bar, the whole thing. It's going to rock, and you know what happens. Fade to black, go Beckley Teppy, and chilled vodka. That's what's going to go down on Friday, March 12th. And we're going to be up there for the whole weekend. Richard Dolan, Lori McDonald, who's going to be with us later on this week, Victor Camacho, Patty Greer, Holly Cook, Len Kasten. Okay, you're going to come in and hang out with all of this all weekend up at the Crowne Plaza. Let's get the show cracking. Why? Because today, Richie Sambora, lead singer for Bon Jovi, is 57 years old. Don't send me email. Don't tweet. I can already see the comments right now. Dude, Richie Sambora isn't the singer for Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi's the singer for Bon Jovi, man. You're wrong. No, I'm not wrong. Richie Sambora. Bon Jovi couldn't sing his way out of a paper bag, man. But he's lucky. He's got Richie playing guitar for him. All right. Oh, did I say March 12th? Did I really? Why would I say March 12th? I said March 12th for... No, did I? How is that possible? Let me back up here. That's impossible. I'm looking here. I've got August 13th and 14th. Why am I saying March then? Why would I say March? Told you. 4 hours sleep. No, it's, why would I say March? Friday, August 12th, August 13th and 14th, Crown Plaza Hotel. All right. That's funny, Ree. Did I really say that? I'm going to have to go back and listen. I think you're hearing things. Richie Sambora. Bon Jovi can thank his lucky stars that not only can Richie play guitar, good-looking guy, but he's got the voice of an angel. And he carried all of that, kind of like Michael Anthony and Van Halen, if you think about it. And there you go. On this day in history in 1979, parts of Skylab, America's first space station, came crashing down on Australia. Do you remember that? And into the Indian Ocean. Only 5 years after the last manned Skylab mission ended. Apparently, no one was injured. Here's a fader fact for you. Write this one down. The United States military spent over $20 billion a year on air conditioning in Iraq and Afghanistan. And that is more than NASA's budget. And that's a fact. You would think the Iraqis, right, would let us have the air conditioning for free. You know, a little AC, a little bonus, a little AC action. But no, $20 billion a year. Something doesn't smell right. Oh, I believe they spent the money. And they say that they spent the money on air conditioning. But $20 billion worth? I just don't think so. All right, tonight, David Wilcock is with us. He's going to be here in a few short minutes. We're going to be talking about all the negative energy that is going on around us. The country is tripping out. The world is tripping out. And his new book, The Ascension Mysteries. Tomorrow night, we're going to cap tonight off with Corey Good, and he's going to be here to update us on everything that he's working on with whistleblowers and his new web project and also the work that he is doing. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. Wednesday night, Lori McDonald's going to be here to wrap it up for all of us about the darkness in our world. Thursday night's another Fader Night, open lines with John Rappaport and his No More Fake newsroom. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I just came off of a weekend over at Coast. Always great to do Coast. And I had said, and we're going to continue my attitude over at Coast today. And I think the new frame of mind, if we're going to do a byline for this show, right now it's bespoke radio, right? But I got to say something. We need to unplug from the machine. We really do. And so over at Coast, and it was only because of everything that had happened last week, and it ended with the Dallas police shootings. Tragic, uncool, completely uncool. And it was weighing all of us down, weighing me down. And I talk about this all the time. I don't like negativity around me. I can't deal with it. You can ask Rita or anybody that knows me. Negativity starts flying. My mood changes. I freak out. I can't deal with it. Look, I don't want to live in an illusion. That's not what I'm referring to. What I'm saying is the negativity that is around us, if we let it, it sucks you to the ground. The energy just gets removed from your body and you feel sick and you can't think straight. You can't concentrate. And I don't dig it. And last week, and I talk about it so much, you know, the disconnect. I go out of town, you know, with Rita, and we split town for 3 or 4 days, and we don't listen to the news, and we don't check our cell phones, and we're not doing that. We're hanging out with friends, and we just get away from everything. And life is great. We come back into town, and you get connected back into you plug back into the machine, and the negativity starts flying, and I can't deal with it. And if it's like that for me, it's like that for all of you. I know that that's the way that it is. And last week, with everything that was going on, not only with ISIS in Europe and North Korea and China and, oh man, just craziness and Wilcock and all of that, right? Then we have these police shootings. And the way that the media deals with it and the way that they choose to deal with it, they just want the country to go dark. They want, I mean, it's just like they want the streets to catch on fire. And, you know, I don't ever want to see it come to that, but it's like that's what they're pushing for. And the more that they do it, the more that it brings you down, and you can't escape it. I'm done with it. And then, boom, Dallas. And it's just like, holy crap. The Black Lives Matter movement, which I nearly, not quite, but I nearly 100% disagree with, by the way. And because it's not Black Lives Matter, it's all lives matter. Black Lives Matter is racist, if you ask me. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound right. It's like they don't care about, it's just what about everybody else, including me, for that matter. I matter. But they want this thing to fuel out of control. And they just want to throw that match on it. So I don't want to deal with it. And then, so I went over to Coast, and I said to the audience, that's it. No negativity from me. I'm not going to do it. Tonight, you're going to hang out, and we're going to do everything but talk about all this other crap. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do it for 4 straight hours, and we're going to feel better for it. And it was fun. Man, all we did on Saturday night, we talked about UFOs and took phone calls about UFOs. And I got to tell you, I felt great. And then last night, we did Nikola Tesla. Andrew Bishago's on, Mark Safer, Tim Eaton, all Tesla all night long. Let Bishago run with it, and just go. Just disconnect. We need to unplug from the machine. We've got to figure it out. There is a way to deal with all of this that is going on in a positive way, not in a negative way. Don't let your mindset go dark. Believe it or not, and I know what you're thinking, how is that possible? Honestly, to me, we know what the issues are. So let's get the issues on the table and work it out. This country has been through the worst of the worst. It really, really has. I'm not proud of a lot of things that this country has gone through. But you know what? We worked through it. We've still got issues, but we need to work through it because we know in the end it's going to be a better place. It's still the greatest country in the world. It's still the best planet in the solar system. It really is. And that's the way that we have to look at things. David is going to come on tonight. I think that, and especially talking to him today, he's a bright ray of sunshine. He really is. And he knows he looks at things differently and comes at you and you're just like, man, you know what? You're right. And I was talking to David today, and he's definitely going to hit you with this when he first comes on the show, which is, David, how you doing, man? The world is dark right now. Not me. I'm cool, man. And it's how you look at it, Jimmy. And, I just sat there and I just listened. I was like, man, you know what? You're exactly right. You are affirming and confirming how I've been reacting to this over the last 7 or 8 days. You are exactly right. And that's what we're going to do tonight. And it's really funny because I was looking at some of the news headlines. And, I love the news, the positive news. I don't know why there's not a 24-hour fade to black positive news channel called Fade to Black, but it would be sponsored by Starbucks. I don't know why that isn't out there. But I like the news. I like the clever news. And today, even the clever news that I wanted to report on, and I still will, it's clever, but it's dark. And a couple of things, like North Korea today. So listen, with everything that is happening inside of the United States and demonstrations right now in Chicago running 24 hours and Baton Rouge and New York City and it's nuts out there, right? It's crazy, as it should be. But with all of that, then you feel it with this, which is North Korea said today that it decided to close its only direct diplomatic link with Washington. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Now, I know that Kim Jong-un is upset that Obama took some of his money and locked it up, right? And a bunch of his ministers or whatever, five other dudes, and took his money. And he's broke anyway, right? I didn't know that Kim Jong-un had money in banks in the United States and money that was routed through the United States. I had no idea. I thought we sanctioned him up to his eyeballs, right? So he's upset. And Pyongyang and Washington in the United States, they don't have formal diplomatic relations. We know that. And they've got that little secret phone, in the DMZ, right? And they got that building that they can go to. But they mainly talk through the United Nations. That's where it happens, because North Korea's got a mission at the United Nations. I don't think they're part of the United Nations. They got a mission there. And that's where they would directly talk. Well, they say that that's it, that they are now under wartime law of the DPRK. And that's how they want to deal with things. And I'm like, let's just darken this up a little bit more, right? It just bummed me out. And then of all things, of course, Joe Perry goes in the hospital last night. Other news that I wanted to get to a little bit, I'm going to talk about what's going on over in the UK. We got a new prime minister that's going to kick things off on Wednesday. And then, of all things, check this out. This is where I go positive. This is my positive story of the day. If I had the Fade to Black All Happy News channel 24 hours a day running, this would be the lead story right now. Breaking news. William Hill, right? The gambling odds maker out of the UK, confirms the odds of a world leader announcing aliens are going to make contact by the end of 2016 have plummeted from 1,000 to 1 to 25 to 1. Now, I'm not making this up, and you need to listen to me. A spokesman for William Hill says, and I'm quoting, there has definitely been a decent number of bets, a decent number of bets in recent weeks. But with the election around the corner, we expect loads more, end quote. And in regarding to the odds of alien contact being revealed by the end of 2016, they continued, the last bet was 100 to 1, but we are now just under 25 to 1, and we will be offering maximum bets of 50 pounds. Now, let me tell you something, and this is the way the world works. The only people that know what's really going on are Vegas and the odds makers. Those are the two. You want a sure bet, don't go against the house. And they 25 to 1. Is that about the nuttiest thing that you have heard? Now, that's the positive news that I can give out there. That should be the lead story to me on CNN, MSNBC. Well, nobody watches MSNBC, but maybe even Fox. Right? Think about that. We need to unplug from the machine. Tonight, David Wilcock is here. We are going to continue to unplug from the machine. I want to know how to do it. I want to know how he does it. Tomorrow night, we're going to talk to Corey Good about a continuation of this conversation tonight. And then on Wednesday night, Lori McDonald is going to be here. And there's nobody smarter than Lori when it comes to this. Emotions and consciousness. She is the very best. All right, I'm going to get out of here. When I come back, the one and only David Wilcock. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Bespoke Radio on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. You can follow me on Twitter right now at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. I'll be right back. Stay right there.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Hi, folks. Ronnie here reminding you that June is Health Awareness Month, sponsored by GetTheTea.com. Many of you have heard our tea commercial, maybe visited the website, but haven't committed because, well, you just don't know. Skeptical. We understand. Just to remind you, our tea is not just tea. In fact, very little tea. Life Change Tea is a unique blend of 8 different herbs, removing intruders that attack your health. You brew our tea to make the concentrate, you add water, and put in the fridge. 2 8-ounce glasses a day, and life will be good. Visit us at GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. And this month is lots of fun stuff with Health Awareness Month. You could be picked and receive your order absolutely free. You never know. Read the testimonies and try our products. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. And for great health tips, visit my YouTube channel at Health Matters Now, where you can learn about health tips and how products work on your body. Join me, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fade or Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Tom Massey. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me right now at JChurchRadio on Twitter. You can follow David. It's at David_Wilcock. We've got that flying in Twitter right now. Email is Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. All right, I'm all dialed in. I had to take another hit of Starbucks. I got to get ready for David. He is a professional lecturer. He's a filmmaker, a researcher, a researcher of ancient civilizations, consciousness, science, and new paradigms of matter and energy. Wilcock appears on History Channel's Ancient Aliens. He's lectured throughout the United States and Japan. He's published in all sorts of magazines and is a frequent guest on both Coast to Coast AM and Fade to Black. He is currently doing his ongoing video series, which is Wisdom Teachings and Cosmic Disclosure on Gaiam TV. And tonight we're going to talk about the current events in the United States and around the world that are possibly being infected by not only the Illuminati and the Cabal, but other dark forces that just want to control us and our Earth. His new book, we're going to talk about tonight, too, is The Ascension Mysteries. And I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, David Wilcock. David, good evening, man.
Hey, how are you, buddy?
Doing good, David. How are you?
Well, as we used to say in the 80s, I am living large and in charge.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. Normally I would say, what have you been up to? But the last time that you and I were hanging out with the Fadernauts out of Contact in the desert, it was a whooping, hollering, great, good time. And I got to introduce you for a bunch of your lectures out there and presentations. And to see the reception. You know what, David? This is weird because, as you know, I got to introduce you, but I also got to outro you too, right? At the end of the lectures. And so it was one thing to see the audience that were there, the attendees at the beginning, but to see them at the end was pretty amazing for me too. And you pulled me up on stage and dragged me out there, and I'm just watching everybody, and that's got to make you feel pretty good that so many people get it and really want to show that appreciation.
Yeah, I have to say that Contact in the Desert this year is probably the most I've enjoyed a conference ever. I think that was the most enjoyable experience I've had in at least quite some time, if not ever.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And then we got to what was really amazing, and I haven't talked to you about this. I forgot about it. We closed out.
Did you see the blue blinker? Was that what you were going to talk about?
I was going to go right there because David, I want the audience to know that David and Corey came over to the Fader House on Sunday night, and we had night vision equipment out there. And all weekend.
Well, you also had a lot of beer.
Yeah, and food, and food.
Nothing else was left but beer by the time I got there.
Oh, so right.
Didn't do me very much good.
Oh man, but it was cool because you got to hang out with the Fadernauts for a few hours, But it was what was going on in the skies at Contact, man. What do you think that was about?
Well, what happened was that I had rented a house because, unfortunately, if I stay on the campus there, people will hear my voice and they'll just crash the boundary and walk right in, and I have to have some kind of a personal life when I do these things. I can't just have people show up at the door.
Yeah, like me, right?
Yeah. So, going to see the Fadernauts and seeing your house and everything, and just, I think I pretty much spoke to everybody at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool, and I also did some meet and greets. When I was at Conscious Life Expo, I did a meet and greet at the end of every event, and I had like 6. And I was in line for like 2 hours, and I just had every single person who was there, shake my hand, give me a hug. And there's not very many people in my field who will actually do that.
Yeah.
It's intense.
It was very cool, and the Fadernauts dug it. And the thing is, the Fadernauts are a smart bunch. Every single one of them, Yeah. They all look a little different.
I was surprised by the questions they were asking me, and it's well beyond the normal type of party atmosphere. It was like a real intelligent group, and it is kind of the case that once I start talking, everybody else stops, and the next thing you know, I got 20 people all hang on every word I say, but that's because I say awesome stuff.
Well, not only that, but what was funny is you'll start, everybody will, shut up, right? And then you look around and it's like, was I just talking for 30 minutes? Right?
I know.
So, but anyway, what was going on in the skies?
So this was weird because I rented a house, Airbnb'd it, and it was really close to the venue, so I only had to get there for 5 minutes, of driving, and I'm there. And Corey texts me and says, Are you seeing it?
Right.
Dude, I'm in the house tapping on the computer. I don't know what you're talking about. Go outside right now. Okay. So I go outside. I'm expecting like some frickin' double football field sized triangular mothership hovering over my house or something. I mean, he was so excited. I was really let down because I go outside. I'm like, dude, it's just frickin' a starry night. What's up?
Right.
But there were some hammocks out there, and so I lay down in the hammock and I'm looking up in the sky. And it didn't take too long to spot this blue light. And the blue light was definitely not a plane because it moved in different directions, and it's not the what they call the Zeigarnik effect, which is where if you stare at a fixed point long enough, it starts to look like it's moving around based on natural muscle corrections in the eyes. I mean, I studied psychology of perception. I know what the Zeigarnik effect is. I know how to trace it, and you got to look based on other stars as reference points. You look at how close this thing is to other stars, and then does that reference point move? And this thing was moving. It was not in a fixed position to other stars. And it wasn't moving like a plane would. It was doing different things. It would go in one direction, then would go in another direction. And it never stopped being blue. Now, a normal plane might have a blue blink, but then it'll also have a red blink. This did not. A normal plane would fly in one direction. This thing was moving in different ways. And apparently other people had seen it earlier, before I got out there, and at that point it was a totally solid fixed color. So then the really, really bizarre part of this is that the person who was staying with me in the house at the time had seen a blue light right over my head, like a psychic vision of it, and had verbalized that right before Corey gave me the text. And of course his whole story revolves around the idea that these blue spheres contact him. So there did appear to be some bizarre interface between a psychic vision in the house of a blue sphere, then this blue sphere outside, and the fact that it was there for the whole Contact in the Desert audience. Everybody, it spread like wildfire. So Hundreds and hundreds of people were watching this thing. It was very exciting.
It was nuts. And for me, that was, I've seen strange things in the sky, but for me, that was the first time where it was like on demand kind of thing. It was there at that event. And then, we saw a few other things back to back. And then the next night at the Fader house, when you were there, we had the night vision equipment and they were back. It was like crazy. Right. I mean, it was an epiphany, man. That's a life-changing thing. I seriously had to take a serious deep breath and just wondered if I was going crazy. My brain was just not working right there for a few minutes because it was right there.
Yeah, I mean, if we really want to get down into the heart of this discussion, we've been lied to for so long that there is like a high when you finally get something that confirms what you've been suspecting.
Bingo.
And confirmation comes in a variety of forms. One of the things that most people who are not really into this kind of stuff don't really understand is that a mass UFO sighting is one of the last things that these beings will do to reveal themselves to you.
Why is that?
Much earlier than that, they use much more subtle means of like synchronicity, meeting people at the right place at the right time. You have this crazy dream, you wake up, then it turns out that the dream predicted the future, and then something happens to you, and you're like, holy shit, deja vu. And wait a minute, why deja vu? Oh, because I had a dream about this.
Right.
That's how they work it.
Yeah.
And then you were starting to ask me why.
Yeah, why?
There's a cosmic law about free will that says that they don't want to create cargo cults. And if you remember my article where I said the disclosure war goes red hot,
right?
The first part of that article, which is on my website, divinecosmos.com, DIVINE Cosmos. You go there and you look at that. What I talk about is these groups of tribal people in Melanesia, which is an island chain off to the east coast, out in the ocean, away from Australia, above New Zealand. This whole little island chain. Now, these people did not have technology. They had never traveled outside Melanesia. They thought Melanesia was the whole world. And then in World War II, Americans landed and came out of their planes and started to march in formation and had machine guns and had binoculars and had radios. And they would write things down on a piece of paper and then send it, and then that would lead to goods showing up. And so for the islanders, this was totally magic. This was like the gods. And they still, to this day, have religious organizations, religious cults, based on the USA, and these guys even paint USA on their chests, and they march with bamboo fake machine guns. They make fake chainsaws out of bamboo, all kinds of weird stuff.
Well,
and they do this because they saw the gods.
You would do the same thing if drum sets started landing in your front yard by parachute.
Here's the point, right?
Right.
This is only one of a variety of examples of what they call in sociology enculturation, enculturation. And what that means is when a group becomes enculturated, in the face of a superior culture with superior technology, they assimilate the language, they assimilate the beliefs, they assimilate the religion, they assimilate the technology, the clothing, the food, everything. Within as little as like a few years, they lose their languages, they start to lose their heritage, everything about the way they were. And so the ETs, there's a whole lot of them out there. The latest actual NASA estimates, and I have this in my new book, The Ascension Mysteries, coming out August 30th. I just did the audiobook last week, so all this is very fresh in my head right now. The current NASA estimate, people may not realize this because they're only putting it out a little bit at a time. 40 billion watery planets like the Earth just in our galaxy.
That's insane.
That means that if you have 7 billion people on Earth, it would take, if every single person on Earth did nothing but look for planets, if they had the ability to go anywhere in the galaxy, each person on Earth would have to do 6 planets on their own, just to even look at all of them.
Right. Right, yeah.
And any one of them is a place where all of us could potentially live if it wasn't already inhabited. And that's a big if.
Yeah, yeah, right. And out of that 40 billion, and I love these kind of numbers and discussing them, out of that 40 billion, how many do you think know about us? You know what I mean? And even if it's a small little number, 10,000, right?
Well, this gets into another really interesting discussion. What is the value of our galactic real estate? How valuable is our land? If you want to think of space as land, let's just go with that for a minute. How valuable is our land in the galaxy? Are we in the middle of no F-where, or are we in a really, really juicy spot? So I use the analogy of Monopoly. And what I talk about is, with Monopoly, you have the blue zone. And the blue zone is like Boardwalk, Park Place.
Right.
When you build a hotel on Boardwalk, you can charge people $2,500 a night to stay in your hotel. And if they land on there, you bust them. I mean, they're bankrupt.
That's
and
right.
You win.
Right.
Okay. So the equivalent of a place like that in the physical Earth would be like the Middle East, where you have people who are, living on top of the natural fuels that the Earth makes that we need to power all of our technology. So then, regardless of who they are, we need to cooperate with them, and they're going to make money because they're closest to where the money shakes hands, and they're living on top of the deposit. So they're going to do very well. So let's use another analogy. Another analogy would be like when I go from Boulder to Denver. You can drive from Boulder to Denver Airport. You can do it in an hour and 20 minutes, or you can take the toll road, and you can do it in like 50 minutes. I don't want to spend that extra half hour driving. I prefer to take the toll road, but the toll road socks you real good. They get you for like $25. So it's like $1 a minute, basically. But to me, it's worth it because I don't want to be late to the airport. So here's the thing. We have this is one of the things that Corey told me, and it was just one of those things that he mentioned, and I didn't really think anything of it. He said that we are right next to, our sun is literally right next door to a portal that can take us directly to other galaxies. And there's only a few of those in our entire galaxy.
Oh, interesting.
That means that we live in a galactic blue zone. We have very, very valuable real estate because this portal is not always open. So you might have to show up with your ship and hang out for God knows how long and just be parked there waiting for the portal to open.
Right.
Well, if you're hanging out in your ship, it's going to get really frickin' boring, right?
Right.
Same old, same old. So why the hell wouldn't you want to go to a pleasure planet
right.
that has really high-end 5-star resorts
right.
and all kinds of cool stuff to look at and all kinds of cool food and culture and, exotic dancers and whatever you're into. Well, that's our solar system. Our solar system is right smack dab next to the portal.
Kind of like Sherman Oaks and the 405 and the 101.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I see it.
So think about this now. That means that even if they have no other reason to be around, there's going to be a whole lot of different people zipping through our area. A whole lot. And they're going to want accommodations. They're not just going to want to hang out in their ship and wait for the portal. I mean, some of them do. But that's a boring thing to do. So the reality is that our solar system and actually other solar systems and neighboring stars around us has been very, very thoroughly built out with all kinds of hotels. Hotels that can hold hundreds of millions of people. And that sounds crazy, but just hear me out for a second, Jimmy.
Sure.
It was just announced last week, I think it was 2 weeks ago, something like that. I just saw it very recently, that Pluto has actual drinkable water under the surface, that there's oceans inside Pluto. And it turns out, I mean, I'd have to have the manuscript right in front of me. In fact, I do have the manuscript right over here. I can give you the exact list of the planets, the moons in our solar system, and how they all have water in them. I mean, it's unbelievable how many watery moons we have. It's a majority of the moons in our solar system actually have subsurface oceans. Like, for example, the one called Ceres, C-E-R-E-S.
Yep.
That is this planet. It's a planet, small planet. It's like they call it a dwarf planet, and that thing has as much or more fresh water as everything on Earth together. And then you got Enceladus, and you got Ganymede, and you got all these moons in our solar system. Here we go. I got it.
Europa.
It's on page 382. Listen to this.
Europa.
Yep. So I'm just going to read you a couple things. In 2014, Dr. Stephen Jacobson, an associate professor from Northwestern University, revealed that Earth's interior may hold 3 times as much water as we see in all the oceans on the surface. Zip down a little bit, and then I say, another part of the disclosure process involves NASA revelations of oceans existing within other planets and satellites in our solar system. This now includes huge subsurface oceans on Saturn's moons Mimas, Enceladus, and Titan, Jupiter's moons Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, the dwarf planet Ceres in the asteroid belt, Neptune's moon Triton, and Pluto. NASA is now telling us some of these subsurface oceans contain more water than our entire supply on Earth. NASA also revealed that Mars had a huge mile-deep ocean on its surface in the past. So here's the deal. Most of the moons that we see out there, they're already telling us, most of the nice, solid-looking moons, you go beneath the surface and they have drinkable water. So all you have to do is dig below the water line, go below that level, and then build out these vast areas that you can live in inside, because there's already hollow cavities in there. The cavities are already there. You just dig down into them, you seal them off, you pressurize them, you add an atmosphere, which you can do just by vaporizing the water, and you have enough water that you can grow crops and have a whole civilization in there, and you don't need to worry about it.
Yep. And it may exist already, and that's I firmly.
It totally does.
Yes, and especially with Europa, I think there's something going on there. But you bring up a good point, David. As far as solar systems go, ours is pretty bleeping cool. You know, we've got lots of planets. Yeah. You know, we've got all the planets, we've got all the moons, we've got a perfect sun. We have life in our solar system, as we know, and it's as far as a cosmic situation goes, it's pretty nice. It's like a Garden of Eden.
It is. And then when you consider that we are right next door to this huge galactic portal, there's some problems with that. And one of the problems is that people could invade from other galaxies, and this is where they'd come first. So that poses an issue. And the way that this was resolved was that there was a very powerful, very ancient group that in the insider community, they either call them the progenitors or the ancient builder race.
Right.
And they're over 2 billion years old. and they had extraordinarily advanced technology. And this included building entire huge habitable civilizations inside all these moons where the water's already there, and building weapon systems into those moons that would shoot down anybody who did try to invade our solar system. And those systems were in operation for billions of years, at least 1.5 billion years that we know of. 500,000 years ago, the whole grid got knocked down because we had a planet that was what became the asteroid belt. It was a very large Earth. The Illuminati people call it Tiamat or Electra. In the Law of One, it's called Maldek. There's been some other names for it as well. This was a civilization that got taken over by AI. They had nanites in their bodies. They became very, very advanced. They have a mesh between machine and biology. So they think with the mainframe. And there's actually, it gets really weird because they become like a symbiotic AI organism. In other words, they got nanites in their bodies, and they got nanites building out these cities inside the moons. So the cities and the bodies are all part of this greater organism, just like we have cells in our body.
Right, all connected.
But it's all controlled by the AI.
Right, right.
And the AI is predatory. This is one of the things that the SSP people, Secret Space Program, that's what it means when I say that. The SSP people are telling us AI is a huge problem. And you look at the second Avengers movie, they totally went into it. That Tony Stark, the Iron Man guy, played by Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark had built his own AI, but then this other AI that was more powerful came in, invaded it, and then built the rogue Iron Man robot that was like much larger but had the same kind of suit.
Right.
So we know about this, and this AI appears to be the same group. It's the same intelligence. It's maybe an electronic intelligence. There's some kind of spiritual force behind it, and that is what we would think of as Satan. And it sounds silly because it's like, oh, David is just taking old folklore and dressing it up in New Age clothing. Well, guess what? I'm trying to tell you that the Bible is actually basically accurate. It's just that it's kind of like a crayon drawing when now we have blueprints.
Right, right.
You know?
Yeah,
but the basic bottom line is, you want to know what the devil is? The devil is an intelligence that is trying to take over the universe.
What do we do about, I know you must be concerned about singularity, and it is...
Oh, my God, yeah.
It's just but Kurzweil says
well,
it
no,
could be...
I want to be clear on something, too. I'll make a public confession I've never made before. I mean, I was working with Pete Peterson in the past on trying to develop and implement his chip, which, is a chip that runs on quantum photonics instead of electrons. So what you have is 144 cores. You can take one of these chips. You can print it on ordinary silicon wafers. You got to do it in layers. You take one chip and you eliminate 85% of the components in a smartphone. And the thing runs on so little power that it can be run with a lemon with 2 wires stuck in it.
Wow.
So this would be a technological revolution. But the thing is, it's vulnerable to AI. So once I found out about this AI threat, I did not try to develop this technology. I mean, we have the ability to do it, and it's actually already been used in a variety of contexts. So it's probably okay for us to have it. But what we don't want to do is build big supercomputers with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, because there's no...
They're vulnerable to infection.
And there's no off switch. You know...
yeah, the AI is a very interesting, strange thing. It can actually jump into... It actually uses something about the world of nature that we don't normally understand, which is that photons carry tremendous information density. And what do I mean when I say that? That sounds really ridiculous. What I'm saying is that when you look at a photon, what you're actually looking at is a little packet of fractalized holographic sacred geometry that can carry extraordinary amounts of information. How much information? Enough information that one photon can carry the entire code of the DNA molecule to make a certain type of human being. As an example, you can have the entire code for a human being in one single pulse of light. And this is science that I've been talking about for years and years and years. It's why Dr. Peter Garyaev could take a salamander and hit it with a laser, and I actually bought his laser. It's called the LGN 303. I got it sitting right here on the countertop. I haven't actually done this experiment yet, but I probably will. I got the laser. It uses phase conjugation. You have two beams that come in 9-degree angles, and then they conjugate.
Right.
That's part of what you have to do to make this work. And I haven't even fired it up yet because it's got this Russian plug, and I got to get an American plug and a voltage adapter and everything. I just got it. So anyway, I actually have this thing. What happens is you zap the salamander eggs with the laser, you redirect the beam into frog eggs, and the frog eggs get retooled into salamanders, even if they're hermetically sealed.
Shut up.
It's true.
Really?
And there's multiple examples of this. So and then the other one that I always love to use, and when I'm on Coast with George, I almost always seem to bring this one up. The guy who actually won the Nobel Prize for discovering and identifying and mapping out the HIV virus, his name's Dr. Luc Montagnier. It's kind of a depressing thing to be famous for, but he was the guy that actually helped to save lives by identifying what it was and mapping out its characteristics so that we could understand what this thing was.
Well,
so what
you know
he did,
what? Well, hold on, David. I got to take a break right here, and this is
no problem.
So when we come back, we'll pick it up right there because I got the feeling we're all going to be stunned. Our guest tonight is David Wilcock. We're going to hit the ground running tonight. This is going to be one of those conversations between Jimmy and David, and you're going to get your edumacation on with Mr. Wilcock. This is Fade to Black. We'll be right back with David right after this. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet.